Hi guys, and welcome to a new Dual Universe video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing what Dual Universe is. So who is this video for? I would say that this video is going to be best suited for people that have just found out about the game, people who are currently not playing in the pre-alpha, or anyone that is keeping an eye on this game and who would potentially be getting a supporters pack in the future, or waiting for the game to be fully released. And as such, if you're currently playing in the pre-alpha, a lot of this information won't be anything new to you. So let's get into it. I think the best way to approach the question of what Dual Universe is would be to break it down into two sections. The first section, we will talk about the main features of the game and the core concepts. And in the second section, we'll look at 4 games that are currently available to play that I personally feel will give people a good idea of the type of gameplay they can expect from Dual Universe. So what are the main features and core concepts? Well, DU is designed as a continuous single shard sandbox MMORPG taking place in a vast, fully editable sci-fi universe, focusing on emergent gameplay with player-driven in-game economy, politics, trade, and warfare. So what does that mean exactly? Well, the game is an MMORPG, which if you've played any game in that genre, you'll have a good idea of what the concepts are. But to the novice, an MMORPG focuses on being a combination of role-playing games and massively multiplayer online games, where players generally assume the role of a character and interact with the world and other players in a persistent universe, where their characters evolve over time. And Dual Universe is no different. You assume the role of a human player who was aboard an Ark ship called the Novark that has crash-landed on a planet called Alioth. If you would like to know more about the lore of the game, I have made a separate video about that on my channel. At the start, you'll have very little to no resources, skills, or assets, but as you play the game, you will develop and gain new skills, make armor and outfits, find currencies, develop allies and maybe even some enemies, build constructs such as ships, outposts, bases, and space stations. This game is a sandbox, which means you are free to make your own decisions about what you want to do in the game. If you want to be an expert miner and process the minerals, you can. If you want to focus on trade and economy and amassing a fortune, you can do that too. If you want to build an outpost on some small, distant planet, you can do that as well. This game gives you the tools to be able to carve out the future that you want. Now, on release, Dual Universe will be free to download, and you'll be given a trial period in which to play the game for free. After that, Dual Universe will be supported by a monthly subscription service. This game takes place on one massive server, creating a single, seamless, and shared world experience for all players together, where players are free to move, gather, and fight as they see fit. There are no instances or zones. Every star system, the planets they contain, and the space between them are all part of the same single, fully editable game world that all players share. Resources in the world are finite and all player changes are permanent, at least until someone else comes along and changes it back. The game world is fully editable and is voxel based. Voxels are geometric figures made out of a given material, and they can be found anywhere in Dual Universe. Voxel based materials can be manipulated using a special voxel tool that players will have access to, effectively making everything in the game editable. This enables players to use that tool to design custom cities, ground vehicles, structures, spaceships, orbital stations, or just use it to terraform the landscape as they see fit. The game focuses on something called emergent gameplay, which means that players are given the power to create and direct the story, major events, and content of the game universe. All of the mechanics in Dual Universe are specifically designed to give the player as much freedom as possible, which produces a game world that is entirely run and managed by the player and their choices. So how does this work? Well, I think the best way to explain it would be to give you a scenario. Let's say you want to obtain some rare resources. Firstly, you need to find a planet, asteroid or moon that has those resources and fly there. On arrival, you need to use the scanning tool to find the desired resource, which could take a great deal of time and skill. Once you are there, and you've found the time and the resources, you need to mine that ore and return to a market and sell it. However, in this case, you were detected by enemy players while traveling to that system. They watched and waited for you to return to your ship with the ore, and then they killed you and stole everything. So, as you can see, players and their choices dictate everything, such as economy, politics, trade, and warfare. And nothing is pre-set out or predefined by the devs or the game, which I think is such an amazing concept and what really excites me about Dual Universe. The freedom that this game affords its players is truly remarkable and something that I know a lot of people are really excited about. Now, let's take a look at the second section where we'll go over 4 games that are currently available and talk about what makes them similar to Dual Universe. Now, it's important to make a disclaimer here and note that all these games are not similar to Dual Universe in every single aspect. No game is. But certain aspects and features of these games are similar enough that I feel that it can give people at least a basic idea of how Dual Universe is going to play. So, the first game on the list is EVE Online. EVE Online is a vast, community-driven space MMO where players can choose their own path. What aspects of EVE Online are similar to Dual Universe? Well, for one, it's a sandbox game as well, where players are free to choose their own path, profession, and gameplay style. EVE also has a player-driven economy, where almost everything in the game is created by players, sold, and bought by players. Players dictate supply and demand of items and resources, and this will be very similar to how Dual Universe will work. The next game is Star Citizen. Star Citizen is an upcoming massively multiplayer space trading and combat game, and I reference this game alongside EVE Online because Dual Universe is not just about flying a ship around the galaxy, but it's also about getting out of that ship and interacting with the world in a first-person sense. Exploring man-made cities on foot and discovering new things that would simply not be possible in the game if it was just about space flight. The next game is Space Engineers. This is a game I have a lot of time spent in and very closely resembles some of the core concepts that Dual Universe is going for. Space Engineers is a sandbox game about engineering, construction, exploration, and survival in space and on planets. Players build spaceships, space stations, planetary outposts of various sizes and uses, pilot ships, and travel through space to explore planets and gather resources to survive. And finally, the last game on the list is Minecraft. Now, we all know Minecraft and what it's about, and I included it on this list for 2 reasons. One of the obvious comparisons is in terms of voxel base building, but for me it's more about the fact that, like Minecraft, Dual Universe gives its players all the tools and resources that they might need and let their imagination do the rest. They both give players complete freedom to create whatever their hearts desire. Well, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look at what Dual Universe is going to be. If you think that the game is something that you like and you want to give it a go, there are supporters packs that are available and you can purchase them now, which will give you access to the game prior to full release. I have made a separate video all about these packs, so please feel free to check that out if you're interested. But for now, that's it, so stay subscribed for more news, updates, and future gameplay videos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.